I'll start by introducing myself. So my name is Kristen Johnson. I'm one of the outreach and recruitment counselors here at Cal State Fullerton. I'm also a proud alum of the campus, so I did attend myself. I got my bachelor's in psychology and took a year off, came back and got my master's in higher education. So obviously I really love the campus. So this evening, thank you for joining us. This presentation really is just going to cover admissions information for Cal State Fullerton. We'll start off just with some highlights, letting you know a little bit about the campus. This information is for students at this point typically have been admitted to the campus. So the admissions information might not apply to you so much, but this will just kind of give you a better idea of Cal State Fullerton and what we have to offer. So I will go ahead and pull up my presentation here. And then I forgot to say this, but if you do have questions, feel free to use the feature at the bottom of the screen, which is the chat. You're more than welcome to drop a question in the chat. And then at the conclusion of the presentation, I will go ahead and check the chat to see if we have any questions in there, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, so here we go. All right. So again, I'm going to be talking a little bit about Cal State Fullerton, our wonderful campus. Before I get into that, this is a part of our spring webinar series. So this is one of many presentations that we're going to be doing. Again, if you are an admitted student, you might want to go ahead and check out some of our later webinars that we have where we will actually be talking a little bit more about next steps. So this is more of a general presentation. But I definitely recommend going to our website, which is fullerton.edu/OR for our webinar series to see what additional webinars we have scheduled. We're also going to a webinar on financial aid information. So lots of good information is to come. All right, so we'll start off with a little bit of history of Cal State Fullerton. So we are Titans. We were founded in 1957. So our campus is actually a little bit over 60 years old now. And if you're not aware, there's actually 23 Cal State campuses in California. So Cal State Fullerton is actually the 12th campus to be established within the CSU system. We did start off pretty small. We only had 452 students on our campus, but we've definitely grown. We have close to 40,000 students on our campus now. And we are Division I in athletics. So we're NCAA Division I. We have 15 athletic sports teams. And if you're not aware, our athletics teams are doing really great. We've won multiple national championships. Our baseball team has actually won 4 national championships, and they're pretty well known. So we're doing really great in sports. And then a little bit more about our campus. Our mascot is an elephant. Tuppy the Titan. And so that is because we actually held elephant races. We had the first ever intercollegiate elephant race on campus back in 1962. And so we actually raced elephants with other college campuses. I believe, Harvard actually won the race, but it was a really big event. It attracted a lot of spectators, news reporters came out to report on it. And it was a big deal. And so that's actually the history behind why our mascot is an elephant. So we are located, if you've never been to our campus, we're in the beautiful city of Fullerton. We're in Orange County. We're not too far from Disneyland, not too far from the beaches, Los Angeles. So we're in a really great location here in Southern California. Some of our unique programs. So we do have a very strong Bachelor in Fine Arts program. A lot of our students have actually gone on to perform on Broadway in New York. One of our alum, his name's Ruben Carbajal. I'll talk about him in a little bit, but he's actually in the play Hamilton, and he plays Alexander Hamilton's son. So a lot of our students are very successful coming out of our arts program. We also offer a strong musical theater program, as well as international business. And then for any of our transfer students coming over from Irvine Valley College, we do have a unique transfer program for business students that allows them to get their business degree within 4 years, as well as their master's degree in 1 year. So these are just some of our unique programs that we offer. Another one I'll highlight is our nursing program. We have a strong direct entry nursing for freshman students. So any student who's interested in going into nursing, Cal State Fullerton is a great option. We provide a very hands-on program. Our students actually do receive clinical spots, which means that they get to go into the hospitals and they get to shadow nurses as well as doctors. So it's a strong program and again, very, very hands-on. Okay, so a little bit more about our campus. We have a total of 8 academic colleges, and we also have 110 degree programs. So more than likely, we're going to have a major that will fit what you are looking to study and potentially go into for your career. We have close to, like I said, 40,000 students on our campus. And I would say we're a mid-sized campus, so we're not the largest, not the smallest. We're 241 acres. And one of the things I appreciated as a student is that it was really easy for me to get to one end of the campus to the other. I never really got lost. It was kind of nice, the fact that a lot of my classes were centered right around the quad, so very easy to get around. If you're interested in what our students are studying, this is a quick snapshot of what our top 5 majors are. So for freshman students, a lot of students are choosing to go into business, computer science, criminal justice, public health, psychology. Those are some of our more popular majors for freshmen. And then for transfer students, our students are also choosing business, communications, child and adolescent studies, psychology, and sociology. So these are just some of the popular majors, but all of our programs are really great. So these are just some more recognitions for Cal State Fullerton. So we are #1 in the CSU graduating women and Latinas, and we're #2 in the nation awarding bachelor's degrees to underrepresented students. So underrepresented students, these are students of color. These are students who are first generation. So they're the first in their family to go to college, low income students. So this is something that we are very proud of at Cal State Fullerton. Also, CSUF does also rank #3 among the top public schools lists. And then we do also offer a quality education at a very affordable price. We do rank in the top 5% best colleges for your money. And we do rank among top US institutions as well for best value. So it's great to know that, you can come to our campus and not come out with, a huge amount of debt. We're also #6 in the nation for enrolling transfer students. Okay, so moving along, these are some of our notable alum. You might recognize a few of these faces. So we have Gwen Stefani. She's a recording artist. She did attend our campus. You may have seen her on a show called The Voice. She's actually performed in our Becker Amphitheater on campus, which was pretty cool. She also was in a group called No Doubt before she went, into her solo career. And then we have Ava Gutowski. She is a YouTube influencer. She actually has about, I believe, 10 million YouTube subscribers on YouTube. And so she's also one of our alum at Cal State Fullerton. And then I mentioned Ruben Carbajal earlier, who was a musical theater major, again, was in the play Hamilton, playing Alexander Hamilton's son. And then Justin Turner, he plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then we have Tracy Caldwell. So she was a chemistry major at Cal State Fullerton, and she did go on to actually become a NASA astronaut. And she's completed 3 spacewalks, and she is working on a project to send humans to Mars by 2030. And then Farnaz Sharma, she is the creator of Shimmer and Shine. This is a cartoon that you may have seen this cartoon on Nickelodeon. Cal State Fullerton has a really strong animation program. So if you're interested in going into that program, our students have gone on to work for companies such as Disney, and as you can see here, Nickelodeon. And then moving on, we have Matthew Libatique. He's a cinematographer. So he's worked on films such as Iron Man 2, Lady Gaga's A Star is Born. So he's actually worked on some pretty big films. And then Roger Koch, he is the CFO of In-N-Out Burgers. Okay, moving into campus resources. So Cal State Fullerton has so many resources that we offer just to make sure our students are supported on every level. So I'll just touch on a few of these resources that we have. So we do have our Academic Advisement Center. They are there to support our students, make sure that they know all the classes that they need to be taking for their program. And I'll touch on this in a little bit, but they will definitely work with you to make sure that you're graduating on time and that you are set up with an academic plan that really fits your goals as a student. Another thing Cal State Fullerton is very, passionate about is diversity and inclusion, and just making sure all our students feel welcome on campus and have a safe space. So we do have our diversity initiatives and resource center. And so they actually house 5 identity-based centers. So we have our African American Resource Center, we have our Asian Pacific American Resource Center, we have our Latinx Center, our LGBTQ Center, and our Titan Dreamers Resource Center. And so the great thing about these centers is that they do offer workshops for students that really focus on enhancing the student's identity development. So this is a great organization to become a part of as a student. We also do have our University Learning Center as well as our Writing Center. I know one of the questions I get from students a lot of the times is just concerns about what if I'm not doing so well in my class? What if I do need additional support? Where can I go for help? So it's great to know that we do have free tutoring services on campus. This is covered by your student fees. So, you can definitely check out our University Learning Center, and they offer tutoring for all the different subjects. So it doesn't really matter what your major is, you are able to get that support, as well as our Writing Center if you need a little bit of help with your writing. Okay, then moving over into safety and health, we do have our counseling and psychological services. So one of the things we do recognize is that students, we want to make sure that they are supported and that they're getting, the counseling services that they need. And so it's great to know that as a student, you are able to take advantage of at least 10 free sessions through our counseling services. They offer individual counseling, group counseling, couples counseling. And so again, this is covered by your student fees. We do recognize, especially with everything going on right now, it's good to know that you have that kind of support on campus. We also did launch You at Fullerton. And so this is another service to make sure students are being supported with their mental health. And so through You at Fullerton, you can actually access this through your student portal. And you have access to videos and articles that really do support mental health. And then speaking of your well-being, we also want to make sure you're doing well on a physical level. So if you love to work out, we do have a rec center on campus. Right now we are operating virtually, but hopefully we'll have that open and running soon. But within our rec center, we do have a rock climbing wall. We have a pool. We have an indoor track. We have weightlifting equipment. It's a pretty big center. It's 2 stories. We even have drop-in fitness classes. We have Zumba classes. So this is a great way to work out and maybe de-stress after maybe you take an exam or you're a little stressed out from class. You can definitely drop into the center and get your workout on. Also, our campus is a very safe campus. We do have our university police that are housed on the campus, and we actually do have emergency stations throughout the campus so that in the event that, let's say you're walking across campus and you do need assistance from the police, you can actually, instead of going all the way over to the university police office, you can just hit one of the emergency station buttons, and we have a less than 2-minute response time for a police officer to come out and assist you, make sure everything is okay. So that's one of the things I really liked as a student is, feeling safe on campus. Student careers. So we are very, one of the things we do encourage students to do is get connected with internship opportunities. Some of the majors at Cal State Fullerton will actually require you to do an internship. For instance, our human services major, basically just to make sure that you're getting that hands-on learning and that you have all of the skills that you need before you graduate and get out into the field. And we also have our career center there. So they're there to support you, whether you need help with your resume, your cover letter, even maybe you want to do a mock interview, you can get all of those services as well through the career center. Okay, student life. So if you're a student who's really like, you're going to be starting with us in the fall and you're thinking, well, how can I get involved on campus? We have tons of ways to get involved. So I'll highlight our Associate Students Inc. This is a great way to get started with leadership opportunities. So maybe you want to be the president of ASI, or maybe you want to be the secretary or the treasurer. Again, a really great way to get those leadership opportunities, and they actually do help determine how student fees are allocated. And so this is a really great way to get involved and become a leader on campus. We do have over 350 clubs and organizations. So we have fraternities, we have sororities, we have sports clubs, we have academic clubs, we have faith-based clubs. We even have, fun clubs that students get together because they have a common interest. For instance, our adventure club, if you want to get together, maybe go hiking and things like that. If we don't have a club that you want, you can actually create your own club. You just need 5 students who are interested in the same thing you are, and you can create your own club, which is pretty awesome. And then lastly, if you're a student who wants to live on campus, we do offer both our residence halls, and then we have single and double occupancy apartments. So our freshmen would be the ones that would stay in the residence halls. We do not require our students to stay on campus. A lot of our students do commute, but if you wish to stay on campus as a freshman, you would stay in the residence halls. And then we also have our single and double occupancy apartments. So our upper division students stay in the apartment housing. And then we also do have a dining hall. It's called the gastronome. So you're able to set up all of your meals through there, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're able to set up if you're going to be a student who's living on campus. I will let you all know that April 7th, if you're a student who has been admitted, April 7th is when you want to go ahead and submit your housing application if you are interested in staying on campus. All right, moving along, study abroad. This is another great opportunity at Cal State Fullerton. It's actually something I wish I had an opportunity to do as a student, and I just never got around to it. But we travel pretty much everywhere in the world. We go to over 40 different countries, 6 different continents. And so this is a great way to still work towards your degree. So you're still, earning your degree, but you're getting to travel the world. You can go with students, other students, and as well as faculty. It is currently suspended right now due to COVID, but again, we're hoping to have that up again and running again soon. So any student who's interested in study abroad, they can actually go ahead and just see their study abroad advisor, and then they will be able to give them more information for their particular major and program. Some more ways our students are getting involved beyond the classroom. We do have our Tucker Wildlife Sanctuary. This is one of our education centers that we have located in Majeska Canyon. And then also, if you're ever down in Santa Ana, you can see some of our some of our art that is displayed by our students at our Visual and Performing Arts Center, which is the Grand Central Arts Center, which is located in Santa Ana. Okay, I touched on this a little bit earlier, mentioning our academic support, our academic advisors. And so one of the things that we do have at Cal State Fullerton is called our Graduation Initiative. This is actually something all of the CSU campuses have adopted. And really, it's just focused on helping a student graduate on time and providing them with all of the resources they need to do so. And so one of the ways we do that is with our I Choose 15 units. So the majority of the degrees at Cal State Fullerton are 120 units. So that means if a student takes 15 units every semester for a period of 4 years, they can actually finish in 4 years. So, this definitely is not forced upon anybody. We do have a lot of students that just go part-time, but if you are that student that, wants to get in, graduate within 4 years, or if you're a transfer student, maybe you want to graduate within 2 years, we will support you with that. And we do have our student success teams, which have advisors that are there to support you and help you reach your goal to graduation. One of the things we do realize is that students cannot graduate on time if their basic needs are not being met. So we do have our Tuffy's Basic Needs Center, and they do support our students who are dealing with housing insecurity, food insecurity, clothing insecurity, to make sure that our students are doing well on a personal level so that, that they can actually go ahead and do well in the classroom. Okay, so I talked a lot about our campus and a lot of our great programs and services. Now I'm going to get a little bit more into our admission requirements. Again, if you are a student who's been admitted, then this likely at this point wouldn't apply to you. But for first-time freshmen, we do look to see that the student has met all of the, that they have their high school diploma, that they've graduated from high school or the equivalent, that they have all of their A through G coursework completed. And then they do need to meet our GPA cutoff. And so what the GPA cutoff is for a California resident or a student who graduated from a California high school, they would have needed a 2.5 or greater A through G GPA. And then for non-California residents, we do require that they have a 3.0 or greater A through G GPA. For our music and dance program, we do require an audition on top of meeting these requirements. And then for our nursing program, there are additional prerequisites as well. And then also we do have a BS to MS computer engineering program. This program is only open to incoming freshman students, and it allows them to get their bachelor's and master's within 4 years in computer engineering. So that's a really great program. It is accelerated. And so because this is one of our special programs that we have, there are additional AP classes that are required for that particular program. I do recommend just keeping in mind that these are GPA minimums. So a student who's interested in applying to our campus, because of the level of competitiveness of our campus, we always recommend shooting for a higher GPA to be more competitive. Okay, so these are our A through G classes. So when we say that we're looking at your A through G GPA as a first-time freshman, that means we're looking at your GPA for these classes that are listed here. Okay, so for first-time freshman students, if you've already been admitted, some of these deadlines have already passed. So you needed to submit your application by December 15th. And then the first deadline that came up after that is just making sure that you submitted any documents that were showing in your to-do list, which is in your student portal. Those documents were due by March the 15th. And then if you're a student who has gotten that offer of admission, we do request that you go ahead and accept your admissions offer and pay your enrollment deposit by May 1st. So that's a hard deadline. You definitely don't want to miss that deadline. The other thing that's going to happen by May 1st is we will send out more information for incoming students about what the orientation process will look like. That's happening over the summer. And then July 15th, this is the deadline to go ahead and submit your transcripts. So we do require your official high school transcripts, and then any AP, IB, any CLEP or SAT scores are also going to be due by July 15th. I do want to just point out that we did not require SAT or ACT for students that applied for fall 2021 or even applying for fall 2022. However, if you did take, an SAT or ACT exam, we can still use those scores to determine your college readiness, but that was not a requirement for admission for fall 2021 or fall 2022. Okay, so maybe you are looking to transfer over or you have transferred over to Cal State Fullerton. So this is what we did require for transfer students. We look to see that you were in good academic standing at your last attended college or university, and that you had your 60 units completed, 60 transferable units. This does include making sure you had your 30 units of general education and your Golden 4 classes completed. We did look at your GPA. GPA is very important. That's something that we do look at as part of the admissions process, and students do need to meet the minimum GPA cutoff. So for a local area student, this means this is a student that attended community college in Orange County. You needed at least a 2.8 for fall 2020. And then for out of area students, these are students who applied to Cal State Fullerton from a community college outside of Orange County. You needed at least a 3.2. So these GPA cutoffs do fluctuate. They can go up and down. It really just depends on the application pool. But we do, again, recommend always having a higher GPA for a better chance of admission. And then once again, if you're applying to music or dance, those require auditions in addition to meeting the admissions requirements. Our nursing program does require additional prerequisite courses, and then criminal justice does require that you complete a prerequisite of criminal justice 100. And so we do have all of this information posted on our admissions website if you would, like to go over that. Okay, so for transfer students, if you've been admitted at this point, definitely make sure you're keeping up with the deadlines. So the most recent deadline, we did require that you submitted anything showing in your to-do list by March 15th. And then for students who transferred over to Cal State Fullerton that had a associate's degree for transfer, we did require that you show us proof that your ADT was in progress or completed on March 22nd. And then May 1st, once again, super important. You do want to go ahead and mark your calendars, especially if you've been admitted, because May 1st is the last day to accept your admissions offer and pay your enrollment deposit. And once again, we'll be sending out orientation information in May, and July 15th is the last date for official college transcripts to be sent in for transfer students. Okay, so I mentioned the term Impaction earlier. This term basically means that the campus does receive more applications than we have seats available. And so there are different levels of impaction or competitiveness, if you will, between the different Cal State campuses that are in California. So this chart basically just shows you the different levels of competitiveness. So the orange column are the schools that are currently not impacted at this time. So if you meet the minimum CSU eligibility, you generally have a good chance of admission to those campuses. The middle column, the gray column, these campuses are impacted by a major level. So that means some of their majors are impacted, but some of them are not. And so if it's a major that is impacted, that means it'll be a little bit harder to get into that particular program. But for Cal State Fullerton, we are one of the fully impacted campuses. So that means all of our majors are currently impacted, and we're impacted for freshmen and for transfers. And so this is why I say all that to say, this is why we always recommend when students are applying to our campus to, do the best they can to have a strong GPA, as that will definitely give you a better chance of admission. So impaction just means, there's an added level of competitiveness, but it definitely does not mean that it's impossible to get admitted. Hundreds of thousands of students get admitted to our campus. Okay, and I talked on this a little bit earlier, but we do give a local admissions advantage to students that apply from our local service area. So for a high school student, if you apply to our campus from either Orange County, Chino, Corona Norco, Walnut, Whittier, or Alvord, we give you an advantage in the form of a 0.3 boost on your GPA. So let's say you had a 3.2 GPA, we bump you up to a 3.5. So again, that's the advantage we do give to our students applying from our local area. If you're a transfer student, we give you an advantage if you apply from any of the community colleges that are in Orange County. So you'll notice earlier when I was covering the GPA cutoffs, there was a local area and an out of local area. For transfer students, the GPA that you need as a local area applicant is going to be lower than if you were applying from outside of Orange County. So that's one of the advantages that we do give for our transfer students. Okay, so moving into cost and financial aid. So if you're curious what it's going to cost you to attend Cal State Fullerton, you're looking at roughly $7,000 for the full academic year. We are a semester school, so it's roughly about $3,500 per semester, and that is just tuition and fees. But there are some additional costs that are associated with the cost of attendance. So you have books and supplies, room and board, transportation. So those are just some of the costs that come up, when you think about attending, what that'll look like for the full year. That's for a student who stays at home. So if you do decide that you do want to, maybe live on campus or you want to live off campus, that can definitely increase the total cost by roughly about $10,000. But keep in mind that a lot of this really will depend on your living situation. So, do you have roommates? Are you paying rent at home and those kinds of things? So this is more so just to kind of give you a big picture overview of what some of those costs look like. Okay, but speaking of costs, not to worry, there's tons of ways to help you pay for school. So I do hope that if you applied this year that you went ahead and filled out your FAFSA application. So FAFSA or the California Dream Act is open between October 1st and March 2nd. So definitely important that you go ahead and fill that out because that's basically how we're able to see what aid you are eligible for. So for instance, you might be eligible for a grant, and a grant is free money. That's money that you do not have to pay back. And so grants are really awesome. And so you might qualify for a grant. You may even qualify for a loan, which loans you do have to pay back. Scholarships, another great way to pay for school. And we've actually listed some websites there on the bottom left side. So if you're interested in scholarships, this is a great way to pay for school. And again, money that you do not have to pay back. And then of course, we have federal work study where a student can work on campus and they can earn funds to help them pay for school as well. So we do have, both part-time and full-time. So for a full-time student, you're looking at the 3,400, a little over 3,400. And then for a part-time student, you're looking at a little over 2,000. So it's a flat rate per semester, depending on if you're taking 1 to 6 units, which is a part-time student, and then 7 units or more would be a full-time student. Okay, so speaking of scholarships, Cal State Fullerton has tons of scholarships. Some of the scholarships we have are housed within the academic college. So depending on what major you want to go into, for instance, if you're going to go into the College of Arts, maybe you want to look into the Millie and Dale Hallberg Award. So there's different scholarships depending on your college or your major. And then we also have unique scholarships. For instance, our Abrego Future Scholars, which is geared more towards students who are first in their family to go to college. We have Guardian Scholars, which is for former foster youth. President Scholars, which is for high achieving high school students. So these are high school students that are coming in with like at least a 3.75 GPA. So I would definitely take a look at our financial aid website if you want to find out more information about what qualifications you need to meet, when the window to apply is. All of that information would be on our financial aid website. And you can actually just Google Cal State Fullerton scholarships and it'll come right up for you. Okay, so Cal State Apply, again, some of you may have already submitted the application, but the website is calstate.edu/apply. This is where you would go to submit your application. It is $70 per application per the school that you're applying to. And we do provide fee waivers for students who qualify. And the window to apply for the fall is October 1st through November 30th, and then August 1 through August 31 for transfer students who are applying for the spring. Okay, and then also on the Cal State Apply website, this is where we have more information about various degrees that we do offer within the various CSU campuses. So you can find out a lot of great information about the CSU system on this website. Okay, then lastly, I do want to invite you all to book a virtual tour, especially if you're a student who hasn't had the pleasure of actually coming on campus and seeing our beautiful campus. You can go ahead and either go to our website, or if you take out your phone, you can just scan that QR code. And so it'll take you to our website where you can book a free tour with us. And the great thing about the tour is that it happens in real time. So our Titan ambassadors will actually virtually show you our campus. And it'll happen over Zoom, but you can actually see the campus in real time, and it's being narrated in real time by our Titan ambassadors. So we do hope you'll check out our campus tours. Again, you can just scan that QR code or go to fullerton.edu/OR and click on the tours tab. And Cal State Fullerton has a transfer center. So if you're a student who's transferred over from the community college and you have additional questions or concerns regarding the transfer process, we are happy to help you and support you. You can go to the same website and click on the Transfer Center tab, and you can get connected with our Transfer Center. We are offering webinars throughout the semester, and we also allow students to set up one-on-one appointments with us as well. All right, and this does conclude our presentation for this evening. If you have any questions or concerns, we'd love to hear from you. So you're more than welcome to reach out either by email at csufor@fullerton.edu, or you can give us a call. We are not in the office at this time, but your voicemails will get routed to our email and we can give you a call back. So I hope you got a lot out of this presentation, and we do have time to actually go ahead and take any questions that may have arose. So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen so I can go back to the chat. And this session was, is being recorded, but I'm going to go ahead and just stop the recording at this time.